Hey, beautiful thrivers. Mel live with an important live all about shame. And we are just 1 week away from our next soul spa, lovelies. And today I want to talk about something that's really sneaky, heavy, and it's way more common than most people realize. Let's talk about shame today and why it keeps whispering that you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you're not worthy, even though deep down you know that you're here for something so much more than that. So, what does shame do, and what is really the biggest issue with shame? The biggest issue with it is that it's the deepest block to love. It's a thief. It steals our voice because we don't feel like we've got anything valid to say or that other people are going to shoot us down if we do. It steals our confidence. It steals our radiance. We don't feel like we can be an authentic self shining in the world. And the most brutal thing about it, the most brutal thing is that shame cuts you off from loving and accepting yourself, which is where all of the important relationships emanate from. The relationship with life, the relationship with others, your relationship with abundance and expansion compromises it. And when shame strikes, the spiral begins. We're in a lower frequency and we start attracting people who ghost, who gaslight, who diminish us, emotionally unavailable partners, relationship that replay our oldest wounds, our primal wounds from our childhood. And it puts you into situations where you shrink, you twist and you turn into 1,000 shapes, like a pretzel, trying to be what everybody else supposedly wants you to be loved and accepted. And you betray your own truth to feel like you're enough. You people please, you hand your power away, you don't get your needs met. And then the problem with this is you start to feel even more ashamed than you did before you showed up, carrying that shame and unfolding more of that reality into your life. And you especially feel ashamed because you stayed, you tolerated it, you didn't speak up, you didn't back up your values or your truth, and you said less. Yes, you said yes to less. And shame really feeds on that. Shame grows power in the darkness. It's kind of like mushrooms in the dark. And if we're not in our authentic self, shame grows and it spreads. So this is what the shame loop looks like. You carry shame and you self-abandon. You don't put your best foot forward. You choose less, like when we're, hungry and we go to the supermarket and we put garbage in the trolley. When we've got shame stuck inside of ourselves and we go out into the world, we choose less than relationships. We have less than choices. And then you feel shame for choosing it and you carry even more shame. And it's a quantum law based on emotional reality. Energy in motion is emotion. This is how we manifest. So it's like if you go for that slice of chocolate cake in the fridge and you really don't want it because you're trying to diet and be good, and then you cave in and then you do it, then you're ashamed about it. You're carrying the shame, which means you're going to manifest more opportunities through your actions. Beliefs create actions that you're going to generate and manifest more to be ashamed about. So that's the shame loop. So let's have a look at it again. The shame's already stuck inside of your body. You self-abandon You don't make aligned, healthy choices. Okay. You go off your triggers and you act on those. You choose less. You feel ashamed for choosing less. And then you carry even more shame. And then you go back to the start of self-abandoning yourself and doing bad choices again. So, and around we go. This is a 3D trauma trap that so many people on the planet are stuck in and they don't even know it. 3D meaning fear, pain, and suffering. 3D is the timeline that's dissolving, because if we stay there, nothing's coming to rescue us and life's getting tougher. So this is all about moving on to a 5D timeline, which is about shedding and releasing shame. So let me know if this resonates with you, and let me know, do you feel, which would be normal, that you're still replaying some of those 3D shame trauma loops? And maybe, it's quite insidious. It can be hidden, and maybe you're just not really aware of it. Okay, and I hope that this helps you recognize it. So this trauma trap of shame, it's the opposite of what your soul came here for, which is 5D sovereignty, which is freedom, expansion, authenticity, oneness with source, filled with light, and operating from that frequency, which is very powerful. Because your 5D sovereignty is about wholeness. It's about radiant self-love. It's about truth. And when we look at 3D versus 5D, the shame frequency divide, shame is 3D frequency. And guess what? It can't survive in 5D. So therefore, if we're still doing 3D shame, we can't be on a 5D timeline. In 3D, this is what our programming has been about. We hustle for our worth. We dim down to try to fit in. And we overgive to be loved. And we believe that we have to fix, we've got to prove, we've got to earn everything. Let me know if this resonates. Just say me in the chat if you can relate to that, because that's how you were programmed as a child. Maybe that's what your caretakers did. Maybe that was the only way that you could get their love and approval, was to do those things. But in 5D, shame gets exposed for what it really is. It's a lie that you picked up in survival mode that never belonged to you. And when we rise up into 5D, when we do the work on this stuff, you remember, I was never bad. I was never too much. I was never not enough. I just absorbed somebody else's dysfunction and called it truth. And that's what false, painful programming is. Shame is not who you are underneath those layers of false programming. It's actually not a part of your divine identity. It's a virus in the field in your being, just like a computer gets a virus and it needs to be antivirused so that the computer can function properly. This is exactly the same. And it is time to dissolve this. And the good news is, in the 5D ascension energy that we're in with quantum tools, we have the ability to dissolve these false beliefs. I want to talk to you about how narcissistic abuse amplifies shame. And this is exactly what most of us here in this community are really familiar with. We went through narcissistic abuse. And if you've been through narcissistic abuse, shame can feel like your middle name. Maybe you had a narcissistic parent. It started really early in your journey. Maybe this has continued on through your relationships. And also too, especially the relationship you've had with yourself. The thing is with narcissistic abuse and how that has impregnated us with shame, Narcissists don't own their darkness. They do not take any responsibility for their inner darkness. It's always somebody else's fault, and they project it onto you. They gaslight, they blame, and they twist until you feel like the broken or the wrong one. And if you're sensitive, a HSP, a highly sensitive person, so many people in this community are HSPs, which means really beautiful, loving people that sense other people's energies intensely. Often you felt like the black sheep, like you're different, you haven't fitted in, and maybe you felt other people's energy intensely. You're into spiritual discovery and growth, and it means you're a highly empathetic individual. And this is really, really common for people who get narcissistically abused, especially if you've always tried to be good. You were that really good person, that good child. You were longing to feel loved. And if that's the case, you became the sponge, the scapegoat. You started believing that their disowned dark parts that were projected onto you, that it was you, that it was your fault, that somehow you were wrong, somehow you were defective. You know, guilt and shame are very different. Guilt is an acknowledgement of I've done something wrong, and then we can amend it. However, shame is I'm wrong, I'm defective, I feel broken. And this weaves itself into your nervous system like it belonged there, like it is your identity. But it actually isn't your identity at all. So what's the energetic cost of carrying shame? And energy is important because energy in the unseen world, you're an electromagnetic being, means your beliefs, your vibration, that's exactly what you're manifesting. Okay. And shame isn't just emotional, it's energetic, and it's really expensive. What it does to our energy field, it tanks your vibration. It blocks healthy love because nobody's coming to save us. As an energetic being, what we're being is what we get. It keeps you stuck in repeating patterns where you're going to feel more ashamed, and you have people come into your life that shame and blame you, such as narcissists or people who are just deeply unconscious. Even if they're not necessarily malicious, it's still going to be your fault. Shame, the cost of it energetically means it's stopping you stepping into your power and your purpose, because energetically you're trying to survive those hard, heavy, energy sucking frequencies of shame. You're in survival. You're not freed into creativity. So your power and your purpose are compromised. And it leaves you feeling like you don't have answers, you don't have capacity, you don't have inspiration, you don't have support from the field. That's how you feel. And it leaves you ashamed of the life you're living and the destiny you're not claiming, because in your soul you sense and you know there's more. You know, you can smell it, you can feel it, you just can't touch it because the shame is blocking you. And all the while, your soul is screaming, there's more, let me out, let me at it, but you're stuck. Let's talk about the way out, because here's the truth, beautiful soul. You can't journal your way out of shame. You can't wait for a savior to grant you a belief in yourself beyond shame. That's the inner work. That's our responsibility. You can't love and light it away. You know, that toxic spirituality, toxic positivity. I'm just going to love and light everything, but it's still stuck inside. It's still manifesting. How much we try to fake it doesn't count. You can't fake it till you make it. You have to go quantum. You have to get to the sponsoring original beliefs and traumas that have been generating the shame. You have to get into your field, which is your unconscious, what's going on inside of you, and release the shame codes from your body once and for all. And when we have quantum tools and you understand how to use them, it's 1,000 times easier and faster than trying to logically think, research, and talk your way out of it. There's no comparison. And this is exactly what we're going to do inside this month's Soul Spa, which is called Dissolving Shame. In this Soul Spa, you are going to discover the core programming that has created your shame. You're going to be able to unhook from the abuser's false projections and know they're not yours. You're going to be able to reconnect with your original innocence, your worth, and your authentic power, which we all have. You're going to be able to activate your 5D self, who is free from shame and full of light, and not fluffy light and love, authentic self. You're going to shift into the frequency that no longer attracts shame-driven experiences. So this is your time. If you've been playing small, if you've been hiding your brilliance, if you've been attracting people who can't meet you, $7 to $77 USD. It's a 3-hour workshop. And in it, you get a free workbook. You also receive 3 powerful quantum freedom healing shifts, which is moving your subconscious programs out of shame into your true self. And you also have access to the replay if you can't get there live. So to register, have a look at the details that I put above in this live, or you can go to melanietoniaevans.com/ascension, the word ascension. And I really want you to know you're not bad, you're not broken, you're not unworthy, you're ascending, you're remembering, and I'm going to be right there with you. So I hope today has helped shed some light on this dark, insidious topic. And I hope more than anything that it's really given you hope. And check out the link above. And I can't wait to help you with this. Lots of love and thrive on. And please leave a comment about this if it resonated with you. And also please share with people who you love that you know are battling shame and could really do with this help. I love you. Bye-bye.